Wednesday here as we wait for the next dragon spawn. X-Tech Dragon, really good dragon. And I think part of it, hold that Barbiturate is face checking directly into War Leader. There's a ward coverage that's getting swept out there. But Barbiturate, they want to challenge this because Paranoia is on the way. God X Anime finding War Leader, going through War Leader's ultimate, going incredibly low. Lulu ultimate goes through for the knockup. There's follow-up from Wednesday. Vex ultimate converts the kill. There's a reset. Getting second one goes through tower. Trading back on the Wednesday. Out. The pressure is on them. PJ does have teleport available. Is channeling directly into the pit. Paranoia goes through. Who will get the smite fight? It's Xin Zhao. War Leader secures the dragon, but the fight isn't over yet. Barbiturate fighting on the other side of the map, built like Mewtwo, getting chewed out by the silver bolts, and it's going to be a triple kill from Mordekaiser. 3 kills going over the side of Wash. I mean, there is the Paranoia goes through. God X Anime onto the backline, escape dying instantly. There's no counterplay. Barbiturate is hitting on the front line with the Silver Bolts and the Guinsoo, and it's just the fight's over before it even starts. The package goes through to try and intercept and stop them from getting in the pit, but I think they're just going to wait this one out. Dragon's not up for 6 more seconds. Pengusoul make the miracle fight happen. There is still the miracle rocket steal. War Leader is still alive. This could be a soul steal.
Again, because my Blastoise was overpowered.
Yeah, you know, it's, and speaking of overpower, we have Wednesday finding a flank on the side. War Leader going down instantly. There's the reset. Paranoia goes through. God X Anime on the backline again. Escape just can't live this game. Terraform going down as well. They'll like Mewtwo trying to disengage, but there's just nothing left. Can't even survive against the Silver Bolts on Vayne. Pengusoul is showing up late to the fight. Isn't even there before it starts. Wednesday looking for the ultimate reset. Pengusoul going for the miracle. Welcome back, friends, foes, and family members. We are into Game 4 between rapidly losing Sandy and Team Washed. I think this has been an emotional roller coaster for me. I'm here. I'm Civillock casting, and with me is my co-caster, Utility Monster. This series has been all over the place. I went into this thinking Team Wash all the way. They're just going to smash RLS. RLS goes 2-0 decisively. They look like brutal games. Team Wash is like, we finally had enough. Game 3, we're turning on the engines. We're filling up the gas tank, we're putting the wheels on our car, and they show up looking like a totally different team. This looks a lot more like the Wash that we see in the regular playoff season. And at this point, I don't know, this could go anywhere. Like, this could be a 5-game series.
That would be fantastic, because I always like to see more FOF League of Legends. We see the first pick Nocturne from RLS, and I really like that, because War Leader looked good on that earlier in the series, and God X Anime looked very comfortable in that last game. So that pick clearly rising in priority as the series goes on. And Corki also seeming to rise in priority as we see Wash trying to take that away from Pengusoul for the first time.
Yeah, it's a champion that they kind of share. I think, if I recall correctly, Pengusoul and Wednesday have pretty similar overlapping champion pools. They're both kind of control mage players. Is that correct?
Wednesday, I think, has a wider champion pool. Pengusoul, I think of as sort of a Corki, Victor, maybe Orianna, sort of small champion pool, very proficient type of player. And Wednesday has more variety, but similar styles for sure, yeah.
Yeah, with that dynamic, with the kind of farming, scaling for both mid laners, I really like War Leader and Nocturne, especially because Team Wash looked really, just really good with it last game. And I think taking it away makes a lot of sense. I also feel like both these teams sort of struggle to play around the Paranoia. The vision matters a lot, you know, and if you're not really on top of your teamfight dynamic, or even if there's a little bit of complexity to your comp, like some guys kite, some guys go in, Paranoia can be really difficult to fight against if you don't have practice against it. And we see the RLS doubling down on the global. It's going to be Twisted Fate locked in for Pengusoul. And
yeah, I just said that he has a limited champion pool and a limited playstyle, and he locks in Twisted Fate for the first time this season, and not a control mage at all. So, shows what I know.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I wonder if this was some tech that maybe RLS wanted to hide, and now that there is a real series happening, the Team Wash has put together some resistance. It's like, okay, let's bust out this tech. Because, yeah, I haven't seen this TF before, but I think it's really cool, especially paired with the Nocturne. You get that double global. It's really similar to the Nocturne Galio that Yubi plays all the time.
I do like it conceptually. I think Twisted Fate as a champion is a little bit of a weak spot. He's been nerfed for pro play quite a bit. So definitely takes some team coordination to pull it off successfully, but at its peak definitely has a lot of potential.
Yeah, the Fiddlesticks gets locked in. That's a little bit, kind of an interesting pick here. How do you feel about that, Josh? Because I don't really understand the Nocturne Fiddlesticks dynamic, but I feel like it should be Nocturne favored. How does Fiddlesticks play against the Paranoia, or is it the other way around?
I think it's relatively even. Fiddlesticks clears a lot faster, so you can then do things on the map and sort of set up sneaky bushes. You don't want to fight Nocturne to the death, but you have a lot more teamfight impact if a full 5v5 breaks out with your ult and your potential for a big fear. So I don't mind it. And Galaxy Anime is a pretty reasonable Fiddlesticks player. He's played it a few times before. And I like him on the champion.
All right, all right. So, ooh, a Tristana locked in. So we have a really strong backline in the form of Corki Tristana. That's like a really strong tower taking duo that I know Yubi has experimented with before. They have the Janna for disengage, but they have no real front line, and that worries me, especially against Twisted Fate Nocturne. Fiddlesticks is going to have a really hard time finding those flanking angles when Pengusul can light up the map with Twisted Fate.
Yeah, it's going to be on PJ Salt here to pick up something beefy that can initiate. Tom Kench is very tanky, but you don't think of it as a primary initiator. So I think Wash has the damage tools, but I think they have a hard comp to set up on the map, especially against Nocturne Twisted Fate. That said, if they can get sort of an even 5v5 fight started, I think they do have more damage overall to take the fight.
Yeah, in a way, this is a really different flavor for both these teams, but in a way it's the same dish, you know. It's really emblematic of both their styles, even though the champion picks are a little bit different than what we normally see. I think RLS is essentially a macro-based, rotation-based team fighting team. They want to be standing at the right spots. Built like Mewtwo has been showing to team fights even at lane deficits. War Leader and Pengusul have been playing great on the map. Tephra has those great engages, right? So RLS is really doubling down on that sort of strategic style and that team fighting style. And I think Wash, of their champion picks, they have no real engage. And they're really just kind of playing off of, we're going to win lane, we're going to play the early game, we're going to run away with the gold lead. And that's basically the Wash game plan that we always see.
We have a level 1 invade coming through. PJ Salt's going to see it and get away.
I like level 1 wards. Yeah. You know, game 4, you're potentially playing for Torment Life as Wash. So, you know, this is the time to bust out your little tricks. See if you can cheese out a win before you go to match point, say, if you lose this game as RLS. So, yeah, I like it. I like it.
And Wash, interestingly, not pulling out a full fan. They actually had most of their members on the bottom half. So the entrance that RLS initially walked through was undefended, but they eventually get spotted out. They get a ward on the red buff, so they know where Gothic Anime is starting, which is nice to know for Fiddlesticks. And it's going to be same as last game, sort of the mirrored starts with bottom side start for Gothic Anime and top side start for War Leader.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a lot riding on this game in the jungle matchup because, you know, I'm thinking of War Leader. He gets Paranoia so many times last game. That's a little bit unfortunate. So I wonder, like, what his mindset is going in this one with War Leader, saying, like, you know, I got the Nocturne this time, you know. We're going to put the fear in your hearts. So maybe that's a little bit of a dynamic going on, you know. Does that ever happen to you, Josh, you know, when you trade the champion picks back? Oh, hold that thought. Tephra fighting a second gauge level 1 escape, getting harassed off of Johnny Tsunami and Barbitra, and Johnny Tsunami zoned off the wave entirely. They're going to have to give level 2 control. Really nice knock up there by Tephra. Rakan doesn't always find those level 1 plays, but able to build priority against a strong ranged enchanter like Janna.
Yeah, and Escape and Tephra have been really strong in lane all series. Even last game when they didn't perform very well, they won the lane. So definitely that's continuing a little bit here, and you see Barbitch and Johnny Tsunami forced back off the wave and forced to let it come in.
Yeah, they're just going to crash that. And, oh, they're going to push Vision. Escape should be pretty safe here. Without level 2, there's no threat to jump yet, so Barbitch can't really pressure, and Tephra just gets back to lane. They will bounce back, but it looks like Escape is looking to shove it in.
Yeah. And Escape as a player is very concerned with his CS numbers in general. He's very happy that he has the highest average CS 15 minutes of all the players in the league. He actually messaged me after his Senna game earlier this series to please remove that from the stats because he wasn't farming. So I think that orientation towards wanting lots and lots of farm contributes to why he's so good at laning. And he's not laning in order to win, although he will kill you if you give him a chance. But he's laning because he wants to get a CS edge. He wants to have as much gold as possible come mid-game to carry his team to victory.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that reminds me of another player who sort of dabbled in and out of the spotlight in FOF, and that's Mr. Chunks, who we had the pleasure of playing with for a bit before he betrayed us to sub for TDE. But Mr. Chunks is another player who has that style, and I think it's like a really core solo queue AD carry style. This is what solo queue teaches you as an AD carry, and it's laning phase is oftentimes dictated by factors out of your control. But what you can always control is getting as much farm as you can, as safely as you can, with good laning fundamentals and Shoyak team fighting with that gold advantage. And maybe Escape looking to convert with even more than that. Tefra getting the knockout. War Leader looking to convert off the fear. The ignite goes through Johnny Tsunami, limping away from that one Barbiturate. Not even healing because he has exhaust though. Exhaust for his support. No kills are going to get traded back, and on the cross map, built like Mewtwo is going to be safe against GodX anime, so no one's going to pass away quite yet.
Bit of a slow flash there out of Johnny Tsunami on the Janna. Didn't flash over the Jinx traps, and as a result was forced to heal and blow his AD carry's exhaust in order to live. So a little bit sloppy, but a good look from War Leader to put some pressure towards his winning bottom lane, and RLS might try to freeze this.
Yeah, they can, and Tristana has a difficult time managing the wave. She will try to crash it, but with the vertical jungle here, GodX anime did show on the top side, so it's really easy for War Leader to come back and revisit. Tefra knows this pressures Johnny Tsunami on the ward attempt. Ooh, this is a really scary wave to play with as Barbiturate, but War Leader gonna channel his recall as his top camp spawning, so doesn't want to coin flip this on a risky play. Respect.
Yeah. And speaking of CS leads, we see PJ Salt building up another one on Mewtwo. Not quite as early as his Mordekaiser game, so Tom Kench maybe not quite as good at snowballing a lead as his Mordekaiser would be last game, but you can definitely see he's the more comfortable top laner in the matchup.
Yeah, this Tom Kench pick is different, right? Because I think our mindset previously was like PJ Salt needs to be on a carry type champion to really assert like a top gap and translate on the map. Tom Kench does support the team, but in a very different way than the Mordekaiser does. How do you think the Tom Kench ultimate is going to play in these fights?
I think it's nice when you're against a pick comp, with a Rakan trying to engage, with a TF trying to ult in and gold card someone, to be able to take the person that is trying to be engaged upon and make them instantly safe.
GodX anime finds the fear from the bush. Tefra getting the knock up, and Escape going incredibly low. Still has flash available. Johnny Tsunami getting some autos back. No kill conversion yet, once again, but a really nice lane gank there by GodX anime.
Yeah, they force a heal and they get wave control back. They might turn this into Dragon, as looks like what the call is going to be. And I like that, actually. Ganking a lane to get priority so that you can get the neutral objective.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, too, for a composition like Wash. They need to get control, and they have a really hard time taking control back after they've lost it. They don't have really true engage tools. Their best engage tool is Fiddlesticks ulting into 5 people, or Tom Kench W from Fog. And I know PJ's a really strong player. I expect him to kind of lane ahead, but Tom Kench just doesn't have the same level of engage as a lot of other true tanks do. So yeah, if they can get the Dragon stack going, that's going to force RLS to go into Wash's team comp, and that's exactly what Fiddlesticks, Corki, and Janna want to happen.
Exactly. And not only does Wash have a ton of proactive tools to retake control of River if they lose it, or their jungle if they lose it, but it's really scary to do it against RLS's comp because you have so many pick tools. You have Rakan, you have Jinx traps, you have Gold Guard, you have Paranoia coming out, you have Burn ult coming out of nowhere. There's just so many different ways that you don't have control and you come through a narrow choke that you don't have vision of, that you can just instantly not be able to move until you die.
Yeah, I know something that our teammate Red has been hyping up is this Ornn Nocturne combo that we see on War Leader and built like Mewtwo. The idea being that you turn off the lights and you send them to Ram Ranch while the lights are off, and then they can't dodge because they're just like, oh no, where is it going? And then you get a great engage.
I thought you got some naked cowboys.
I mean, it could be that too, but most importantly, get the great engage, since this is League of Legends, Josh.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Not Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Or a Chuck Tingle novel.
Well, you said Ram Ranch, and I got excited.
Yeah, no, understandable. But GodX Anime is going to clear back from the bottom side to the top side. I think that makes sense since Dragon's not available. I'll hold that thought is built like Mewtwo, finding the Ram knockup. Doctor coming in with the Fall of War Leader, channeling the fear. The fear goes off, and can PJ Salt get the E off? He does. The shield goes through, so there's no tower dive attempt possible. And PJ Salt's going to be really happy living with only committing flash. The wave will bounce back, so I don't think PJ Salt is going to even lose that much. Absorbing that Paranoia gank, really huge for the tempo of Wash, and it's going to set RLS behind as War Leader waits for that cooldown to come back.
Yeah, 2 ults for flash is a pretty fair trade. There's definitely a window when the ults come back and flash is still on cooldown that you can try and regank, but it gives your team a lot of control over the next couple of minutes of not being able to get Nocturne ganked or have Orin roam and ult you from Fog of War. So pretty fair. I think PJ's going to be happy with that. But you can see that the top lane CS this game is a lot different than last game. Mewtwo on the scaling Ornn pick, it's going to have ornaments coming through eventually, is actually up CS, and PJ Salt's not taking over the game on what should be sort of the favorite side of the map. And meanwhile, you see Barbitulate.
Oh, gold card going through. The knockup goes on Godx Anime. Tephra looking to get the kill. Tephra sets them up, and Escape getting damage back onto Wednesday, who limps away from that fight. It's going to be 1 kill. First blood over the side of RLS.
And that's just all the pick tools coming through all at once. They're quicker on the rotation, but it's just so easy for TF to come in and then Rakan to follow up, and Godx Anime just doesn't have a chance to leave.
Yeah, we just haven't really seen Pengusol in this Twisted Fate recently, but making it really work. Some super spicy tech that they've been hiding for a long time. Built like Mewtwo, having to flash away, but the knockup goes out from PJ Salt, looking to convert the 1v1 advantage, dueling to the death. I don't think there's a way for Ornn to escape from this one, and PJ claims a kill, evening up the scoreboard 1-1.
Yeah, Mewtwo wasn't expecting to be spat out under the tower from the Tahm Kenji, and she does go down, unable to live. I think she maybe could have lived if she doesn't E away, because she actually wasn't taking tower anger initially, but nice to find from PJ Salt. He goes back in.
It, though. Pengusol does have Flash and Ghost available, so I don't think he can die, but getting dangerously low, has to commit Flash. Can PJ look for the dive? It looks like no, respecting the yellow card. But this is going to be a huge pressure deficit. Godx Anime, coming over here to convert. Is that Fiddlesticks ultimate being channeled right now? There's no counterplay. Fear goes through. Silence. And Pengusol gets destroyed, but it's not over yet. War Leader looking to revenge his teammate. Paranoia goes through, killing Godx Anime. The tables have turned as Godx Anime is now the recipient of Nocturne Ultimate, and PJ Salt is going to survive, but it's still not done. Built like Mewtwo finds the Ornn Ultimate, getting the knockout. Will that combo into the Fear? PJ Salt doesn't have Flash available, guts the E, but can't get the dash. The Abyssal Voyage doesn't go through on the bottom side of the map. Tephra getting the knockout. Ultimate is going to connect, but there's no conversion. Escape and Barbitrate both survived this encounter, but Escape is going to have tempo on the way. Whoa, fighting going all over the map, Josh.
And RLS sort of narrowly coming out even from a play that looked like it was not starting out in their favor, with the nice Nocturne ult and the return of Ornn to top lane, evening up the kill count there. And we see overall that TF is down some farm, Nocturne is up some farm, Ornn is up some farm, Jinx is up some farm. So slight farm edge to RLS overall, but nothing too drastic, and still a lot to play for.
Yeah, still a lot to play for sure. And, we have that super scaling coming out of Corki Tristana. I think if it goes super duper late, TF and Jinx can definitely match. But especially in terms of mid-game tower damage, Corki and Tristana can pretty much go unmatched. They just destroy towers. So I think if Wash can ever clinch out one clean team fight, they're going to get 2 or maybe even 3 towers back. It'll be a huge gold swing. So even though Wash is not decisively ahead yet, they have the 2 dragons. They're setting up for team fights. They're scaling up their Fiddlesticks, and Fiddlesticks Ultimate is a huge threat to the backline of RLS, who wants, their style is this front-to-back shell that is built around Escape, and that can be really disrupted by Godx Anime.
Yeah, and getting these dragons is really big, because as we've said, it's really hard for Wash to take fights on their terms, and if they can force RLS to come to them, and the dragon pressure is a big reason for that. We just saw Wednesday package mid.
Tempo package, hit the wave clear. But we're going to talk about that later, because Tephra going for the engage, but it's counter engage by Godx Anime. Huge Fiddlesticks Ultimate, getting so much damage with Twisted Fate. Gate, Destiny, Rise, finds the yellow card. Godx Anime goes into stasis, but the traps go through to combo. Tephra incredibly low, but the Jinx reset goes through. Barbiturate's in some trouble, he gets his jump off. Johnny Tsunami is limping away, but Pengu still has the ghost active. The Buster Shot knocks him away, and it's going to be a kill over the side of RLS. A huge map play, but on the cross side, what are they giving up in exchange? Wednesday crashing the wave, Warley having to pick it up.
That's just the power of the Twisted Fate, and Nocturne picks up the mid wave, so they end up not losing much. Nocturne gets further ahead, TF misses some farm, but a great team play from RLS.
Man, both these teams really playing their hearts out. You can tell that, the first 3 games were a little bit funky, We've had some decisive victories on both sides, but this game is the most competitive game we've seen yet. I think both teams really waking up and realizing, hey, this is playoffs now. These games matter. We need to win these to progress through this tournament.
I think that Wednesday last fight at Dragon picked up package to guarantee his team could get Dragon. He then used it mid after Dragon died. That means that his package won't be back until 30 seconds after the next dragon spawns. So it's going to be interesting to see if he'll be able to stall RLS enough to get that back, or if they're going to have to take a dragon fight without package.
Yeah, that is a little bit scary because that's been a big part of their objective control. I think part of why RLS has been choosing to concede these dragons is partly because they're a little out of position, but also it's just hard to force into Fiddlesticks, force into the package. And Wash, with their really dynamic skirmishing style, is making it hard for RLS to approach. But without the package available, that's one less tool to deter and prevent the front-to-back team fight that RLS wants to have. And then they can finally fight around Escape, who's had this dominant lane position without any kills going over for either AD carry. There's almost 15 CS lead for Escape.
Yeah. And you also see a big CS lead in this top lane, which is interesting because PJ Salt has, throughout this entire series, always had the CS lead. So YouTube
Johnny Tsunami gets caught out there. The Rakan finds the charm. Tephra converting another kill. They're unstoppable here. War Leader looking to convert, but Godx Anime with the counter engage once again finds the fear. Will War Leader go down? No, he lives. Finds the Dust Trail back onto the other characters, but the Dustbringer's not enough to convert any follow-up. And yeah, just another kill over the RLS.
Big exhaust there from Tephra to keep the Fiddlesticks from doing more damage and turning that fight around.
Oh, but it's not over yet, because Pengu's still looking for Gate. Destiny finds God X Anime. The knockoff is comboed by Tephra. Escape looking for another reset. Arbitrary cannot survive. It's a double kill going over to Escape. And this is just getting worse and worse for Wash.
Yeah, I think God X Anime expected when he picked Nocturne for it to be picked Fiddlesticks, for it to be a type of pick where you show up out of fog and fear people and get a lot of kills. And that's normally how Fiddlesticks work. But against a team with as many globals as RLS had, you can't play like that. You have to respect the fact that Nocturne can just show up, Twisted Fate can just show up. And you have to be a lot more measured in the plays you're going for. And you can see that, where his lanes are doing okay, but he's trying to enforce these plays that maybe they would work against a lot of other team compositions. But against what RLS has put together, it's just too easy for RLS to respond in time and turn it into a net negative for Wash.
Yeah, this reminds me of those concepts that you can read about in the Joshi corner of the FOF Connect magazine, where he talks about pressure. And, that's kind of what we're seeing on the map, tempo and pressure. All the pressure created by Escape is resulting in this CS lead. Godx Anime wants to get that counter engage to punish the overextension, but, Fiddlesticks wants unfair fights. Who specializes in unfair fights? Twisted Fate and Nocturne. And, the unfairness turns on on a dime, with these global ultimates that transport characters so quickly on the map and generating tempo.
Yeah. And I would like to see Wash just give up this dragon. I don't think that they're in a very good position to fight. They don't have great river control, although RLS is ceding it a little bit. But they're also just down quite a bit of gold, and I think this is their chance to pick up some towers and try and equalize their gold score a little bit. Give up one dragon for top tower, maybe mid tower as well.
I believe this is the first 5v5 we're going to have this game. Both top laners choosing to join the battle and contest this very important dragon. No team is choosing to start it up yet, and I don't think there's enough time to stall for the packages, because Wednesday is going to be trapped here. The dragon getting started by RLS, and they are DPSing it, but Godx Anime is over the side, is spot out by a ward, so won't have a great ultimate angle because they do see him over the wall, or else pulling the dragon to the right side where they can be a little bit safer. But Wednesday's poke is stacking up. Godx Anime gets destroyed on the side. War Leader committing Paranoia onto the flank. A huge Ord ultimate by Build Like Mewtwo gets the full combo off Tephra, being super disrupted in the back line. Johnny Tsunami trying to push them out, but it's not enough. PJ Salt limping away. I don't think he will be able to escape. The Janitor Tornado maybe gets him out, and it looks like Wash can escape with a view of their lives, but the dragon does go over to RLS.
Yeah, and that's why I said that I think Wash should have just given that dragon up and gone for gold elsewhere. They're just behind too much gold, and especially once Fiddlesticks gets warded out, I think continuing to go for that flank is a little bit foolish. Of course, RLS is not going to just let Fiddlesticks wrap all the way around and get a 5-man ult off. So, well played by RLS to make sure that there was no sneaky play. But, yeah, it might be time for Wash to start reevaluating their game plan over the next 5-10 minutes of the game and go for things that are not contested. Try and get little free wins rather than fighting a team that's slightly stronger.
Oh, interesting strategic decision. Wednesday actually chooses to pick up the package, not choosing to save it for the next dragon. So they're going to look for a trade play and map tempo off the reset. But I don't think there's really an opportunity for Wednesday to accomplish much. So I'm pretty sure this package is going to fizzle. And again, they're not going to have for the dragon. A huge consequence of that package cooldown nerf is that you can't just chain it back to every dragon really easily. You have to be really thoughtful about when you pick it up because the cooldown on the package is slightly longer than dragon now. Oh, here it is. Maybe it's the 1v1 solo kill. Penguso gets incredibly low. Wednesday misses. Rocket is punched by the Paranoia War Leader going in for the kill, but it's countered by Johnny Tsunami, blocks the rocket. The darkness is still on, but with no kills getting traded over on either side. Big cooldowns exchanged, but I think if you're RLS, you have to be happy eating the package with no deaths going through.
Yeah, and so Wednesday picking up the package on the second dragon, he picked it up before the dragon, just used it after, so we didn't have it for the third. This package I don't really like because there's nothing that he's going to be able to get objective-wise off of that package, and now it won't be up for the next dragon, so unless his team is already planning to give it up, which I think they should have done last dragon, but they didn't, I think that's a mistake. If he had taken the package and tried to force to a side lane and tried to take a side lane tower with extra pressure, that would make sense to me. But he just sort of ran down mid, used it, didn't get a kill, and now it's gone.
Yeah, they're going to be really careful about how they pick their battles. And because it's actually one of their primary engage tools, weirdly enough, you don't normally say this, but when the rest of your primary engage is Abyssal Voyage from Dom Kench, that's not really the fight starter that you want if you're a team that wants a challenge for control. So package is actually a huge part of their objective control. Without it, they're going to be missing a lot of tools that they need if they want to go for a Dragon Soul win condition this game. Infernal Dragon would be really nice for their characters. Overall, it's not necessarily the best dragon, but in a game like this, where you have a double 80 carry and a Fiddlesticks, the scaling stats can be quite relevant. And yeah, it's just, they're going to have a really hard time challenging for the next one, and all this time is only going to favor RLS. They're going to get to continue to scale with Jinx and continue to scale with Pengu Soul's Twisted Fate. And yeah, it's just, I don't know how Wash gets back on the map now.
One interesting thing about this game compared to last game is that last game you had PJ Salt really asserting, I'm the better top lane in this matchup in top lane, and he had Barbiturate and Johnny Tsunami surviving the superior laning of Escape and Tephra. Barbiturate and Johnny Tsunami actually had the second worst bot lane stats at 15 minutes of any bot lane in the league. But if you look at them, like the eye test, they look quite good. So they're, reasonably talented in team fights, but their laning is a little bit suspect. And on the flip side, Escape has one of the best differences at 15 of any bot lane. So definitely a clash of styles. And last game, the neutralization that Barbiturate and Johnny Tsunami were able to put, only being down a couple waves on a scaling pick, made a lot of sense. But this game, Tristana, doesn't scale terribly, but you definitely, I think, want to get something done in lane. And it is, just down farming kills. And there's no trade in topside. Mewtwo has played more stably. And so you sort of see both teams realizing, oh, they're trying to play through top and stabilize bottom. Oh, we can just play more aggressively bot and, stabilize top.
Oh, maybe this is a return, though. Tephra getting chunked out, finding Godx anime over the wall. Super low. Escape finds nowhere to run. And Worley, you're trying to turn this fight around, but I don't think there's anything to trade here. And Barbiturate hops out to safety. No problem at all. Shutdown going over to Wednesday. And suddenly the ball is back in Wash's court in what seemed like a desperate macro situation. They get a huge shutdown back. They have a massive acceleration onto their Corki, and I wonder if Wednesday and Barbiturate are going to take all those towers that I was talking about earlier. There's so much tower damage available, one item complete on both of these marksman champions. They're just going to rain damage down on this mid tower. That's a lot of gold swinging back over to the Wash.
Yeah, that's a huge play, and it comes from PJ Salt teleporting and Mewtwo choosing not to. Mewtwo had teleport and decided not to come to that fight. So I assume it's a team call and not just I didn't see it because you're Nocturne's ulting. I assume you're looking at your minimap. And I'm guessing it's because of this dragon that they want to have more options at fighting this dragon. They knew that their members, even if they lost the fight, would come back up. But definitely a blunder being so far out mid lane if you don't want to take a fight and giving gold back so that this fight is closer.
Yes, but, RLS may be playing for next fight, dying so early. They actually get better position on the dragon because Wash is forced to reset off of their low health bars. Wash is now forced into a retake position, something that's really difficult for their comp with no primary engage, and there's no possible steal. RLS will at least get the dragon on the other side. And, they're not done yet. They're looking for the kill on Barbiturate. Paranoia goes down. War Leader looking to convert the kill. They're killing Barbiturate under tower. Rocket Jump can't even finish before the damage seals him off. And Escape picks up another kill.
And there you see the
Oh,
consequence of the package that Wednesday used after the last dragon and having it not be up here. Is that they can't go back into the river, they can't take the fight, and instead of going to side lanes and trying to get bottom outer and top outer to get, equalize the gold still more, they show up, they watch RLS take it, and then they lose a member, now they might lose Baron.
yeah, but there is a steal opportunity, hitting Baron. That is the one way Fiddlesticks can get back in the game. GodX Anime is looking for this. They don't really have vision in the pit, though, but he's channeling. He's looking for it. Huge play, getting the AoE damage. Who gets the spite? It's War Leader. He secures the Baron. GodX Anime getting chunked out instantly. Wednesday trying his best to fire the rockets over the wall, get that Overwatch fire support, but Pengu's Soul finds the yellow card ultimate in. PJ Salt saves his teammate with the Devour, and Tefra not able to get the follow-up engage, but that's still Baron going over the side of RLS with no deaths occurring on their team and only GodX Anime falling.
A great result there for RLS, but I have to say I don't like this Baron call at all. I mean, they back off, but they keep the Baron leash and they give Fiddlesticks a 50-50, and that's a great chance for Wash to just instantly get back in the game. Sort of a lucky win on the 50-50, and it turns out that they just get Baron for free, but oh man.
Ooh, yeah, that could have been a lot worse for RLS. That can be a game-throwing mistake if you create that flip. That doesn't have to happen. They have full control of the pit. They can play on their own terms. They can play patiently around the vision. They can try to bait out Fiddlesticks ultimate, but without any eyes on the Scarecrow, they just boot it up. They flip 50-50, and they just trust War Leader's Smite. They're rewarded for it, and they are going to Baron Siege off of it now. Oh man, this is just, it's getting rough. 5k, almost 5k gold lead over to the side of RLS.
And so with RLS pushing for a lead, let's talk about what this means for the greater standings of playoffs generally. We already have TDE and Yubi, of which Civlock and I are both members, waiting in semifinals. Baby won their match yesterday, 3-0 against Art of War, so they'll be one of the teams. And the winner of this series will be the fourth team in the semifinals. And as the number one seed, Yubi, we get to pick our opponent. And I think we've all collectively decided that Baby looks too scary, so whoever wins this series will get to play us next week.
I'll have you know, I'm not scared of Baby at all. I just, it's just annoying to have to draft prep. I want TDE to draft prep against it instead.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's
just annoying.
We on UB do not know fear.
That's true.
A feeling unbeknownst to us.
But we're definitely watching this game a little bit with an eye of, what are these teams' strengths and weaknesses? Are there things that we can exploit next week? And it's hard to read too much into top lane, especially because it is a substitute, and I think we would expect Kieri to be recovered next week and back in the top lane. But definitely interesting to see all these different looks both these teams are putting out, and look at RLS likes to play through bot lane. Wash likes to play for these mid game fights. Maybe they don't always come out of lane with an advantage, and try and think of, well, how would we play against that?
Yeah, and I think this matchup really is just a clash of styles. And hold that thought, as GodX Anime showcasing a style of his own, finding that dive, but not able to trade the kill off, is too weak. Only 2 items, and Zanya's the Oran Horn goes off. Built like Mewtwo finds the catch on Wednesday, but there's no follow. PJ saw a little bit left on his Lozum, has to flash the Rakan knockup, and Tefra making a huge showcase in this 5v5. But yeah, I mean, they still have the Baron buff, so even with just a single kill, they're happy siege. They're not sieging. They're actually just going to back. Actually, no.
That's also want to point out. RLS is ahead. They have a 6,000 gold lead, but it's actually a little bit stronger than that because they also have 2 Ornn items already, and 3 more to come out as Mewtwo hits levels 15, 16, and 17.
Wow, it's like Ornn's printing money.
Basically is.
Wouldn't that cause
National
inflation,
Bank,
though?
It would cause inflation.
That would devalue currency.
And some inflation is a good thing, though. You want a little bit of inflation to keep the economy growing. You just don't want too much inflation because that causes price uncertainty.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I understood most of those words. But, wouldn't it be cool if there was a League of Legends mechanic where, there was, price changes at the shop? That would be really cool.
That sounds...
By cool, I mean really funny for, half of a game, and then be really annoying.
Yeah.
But, what if there was, an eye-edge sale? So, you can adapt your build when items go on sale.
I like it. What if there was a real-time shop?
On.
So the better items become more expensive as more players build them, and so you're incentivized to buy the cheaper, worse items.
Oh, wait, that'd be really cool. What if they use the data from Volatics to determine item price points?
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would really reward adaptive itemization.
Yeah, you have to know exactly the gold value of each stat and know the win rates per gold of each item and be able to adjust on the fly. I think that would really reward skillful itemization in
Right,
League
and
of
like if
Legends
the
more
item goes
concurrently.
up in price over the course of the game, you can sell it, and then like it can be like an investment.
I like it. Investment banking in League of Legends.
All right, it's a good thing that Josh and I are not game designers as we gear up for this potentially last team fight of the game. This could be a really decisive fight for either team. Wash needs this fight to go their way in order to get a foothold back into the match. BJ Salt skirmishing for control, but the vision control is really brutal for RLS. They have that double control where Barbitra on the flank. Ornhorn goes down, but Fiddlesticks gets a huge fear onto the backline. There's a bit of separation, which I think can only favor Wash. War Leader finds the paranoia. Ultimate goes down. Johnny Tsunami trying his best to live. Barbitra cannot hit against War Leader, who gets knocked back by the Buster Shot. And can there be a steal attempt? No. War Leader secures the objective once again. PJ Salt trying to escape with his life, but Barbitra saved by the Devour. BJ Salt spits his teammate out to the left side. AD Carry is the last person remaining as PJ Salt goes down. Barbitra going for the insane flash in, but he gets one shot and escape with his iron nerves, just holds his ground, shoots his rockets, finds the triple kill, and that is the team fighter AD carry that we've seen RLS build their identity around. That is Escape 7-1-6, supported by Tefra with their 2-0-12 scoreline. This matchup has almost this game at least has been really decided off the back of Escape.
I agree, but that last fight, I think actually Mewtwo played really, really well. She zoned 3 people single-handedly, being really tanky as this Ornn, and the Shanna just couldn't get through. The Fiddlesticks couldn't get back through. The Tom Kench wasn't able to do much, and you ended up with a case where Escape is able to clean up with a man advantage in one half of the fight because Mewtwo is, despite not getting assists, holding so much pressure on the other side of the fight. And I really appreciate when players sort of know their role in a fight and know, I don't need to get kills. I don't need to get assists. I just need to hit S right here, tank as much damage as possible, and waste their time while my backline wins.
Exactly. You know, that's kind of the discipline that you need to have, that like fight presence, that fight understanding to play well as an AD carry. You need to understand the flow of the fight. You need to understand who's winning, who's losing. You need to know what the threats are. And sometimes as AD carry, you can recognize all you need to do is live. And if you simply do not die, your team automatically wins the fight. Something that I completely lack when I play AD carry is I kill myself every single fight, much to Joshi's shame and chagrin. Oh, we have a little bit of skirmish here on the side. War Leader has to flash out, throw Spell Shield down, and will live. That is a little bit of a nice pickup there from the side of Wash. Without Flash to combo off the fear, War Leader is a little bit less threatening than Barbitrate, and Barbitrate really needs to pop off this fight if Wash has a chance of staying in this game. They're looking for control, but built like Mewtwo just is built like Mewtwo, walks in the top jungle by themselves, does not care. Just like Mewtwo in the Pokemon movie, who like 1v20s the entire Pokemon Stadium. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it yet. But with the Super Minions crashing onto the base of Wash, they're being forced to go home, and they're just going to give up the Baron entirely.
Yeah. One thing I do want to nitpick here is Escape's build is not very good.
Probably won't matter.
Lord Dominus Regards third is mathematically worse than Infinity Edge. Even against high armor targets, you can do the math. It's
like technically a tiny bit worse against high armor targets, but
assuming you get 0 auto attack against squishies. But even if you're pure front to backing, you will kill the tank slower enough that you'll kill the backline faster to make up for it. So I really dislike that build choice. I think a lot of AD carries fall into this, where they get scared of the one tanky person they're hitting, and they lose track of how many autos they're actually getting on low armor targets.
Yeah, right. The Wednesday going for that cheeky Baron steal attempt and has the package, but there's nothing to it. Unfortunately, not able to get the Miracle Rocket, and RLS is going to reset, walk back onto the map. Yeah, I think something that some people don't quite think about is that Infinity Edge is a really good auto attack modifier. So if you are confident you can auto attack as an AD carry, Infinity Edge is going to have a huge impact. And I think on a more caster type AD carries, the armor pen is a little relatively more valuable. It's easier to justify. So for example, Aphelios, if you're relying on ability burst and lethality, maybe you can justify Lord Doms. But on champions who auto attack like Jinx, if you're not just perma-zone for fights and only throwing Zap Mega Death Rocket, then High Edge gives you auto attack damage, and
especially with Kraken
the attack damage carry. Yeah,
Krakatha
right,
gives you
crack
2 damage
straight,
on every third auto attack, and it has an 18
we're gonna have to
ratio.
hold that thought as built like Mewtwo finds the huge knock on Johnny Tsunami, dying instantly to the ambient burst damage. Escape though, getting really low. Oh, a narrowly missed big one by Wednesday that would have chunked Escape incredibly low, but now with the 4v5 situation, super minions coming into the base, things have reached a desperate state. Wednesday getting chunked out. Paranoia goes through. War Leader fighting Barbiturate, who has to jump out, not getting any damage off. Onyx Amity desperately trying to peel his backline, but as Fiddlesticks, that's a pretty difficult task, and Escape going to combo with the Chompers. 5-0 ace, and RLS is going to take game 4 of this series, clinching out the win and moving forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, huge win for RLS. I can't wait to play them next week. They look very strong. And disappointing end of the season for Wash, but I think they played pretty well, especially in game 3. And they can hold their heads high, knowing they had a pretty solid FOF season as well. If that is it for us as casters, but don't go anywhere. We're going to have an interview with Sherrigan and the victorious Rapidly Losing Sanity. And if you're missing FOF content, make sure to read the magazine and check out the Valorant tournament coming up this weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we're going to send it to our break. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for our winners interview.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. We have got RLS's Built Like Mewtwo and the bot lane's support Tephra joining us on the interview desk after a grueling 4 games in this best of 5 series. Folks, I gotta ask you two, how do you feel that the first set of games seemed like they were a little rocky, and then the third one kind of rough as well? How does that make you feel continuing on into this playoff series?
So yeah, uh, it's always fun to keep on playing in the FOF, and I'm happy to have another week of playing FOF, especially with RLS. I've enjoyed my season with them so far, and I'm sure that next week, regardless of result, will be fun.
Yeah, and so was there a so Built Like Mewtwo, was there like a specific game plan that your team had going in against Washed, and did Washed kind of do anything you weren't exactly expecting?
We had some plans going into it, but like we were kind of surprised at some of the comps they drafted. Like we didn't expect that from Wash. Honestly, I'd say like the most expected comp was the